Unharm here. Before the episode starts, want to let you all know the 27th next week there will not be an episode. Thought to let you all know beforehand. Enjoy this episode. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Unfit and Unharmed. Today I'm with my co-host again.
I thought I'm starting this episode. Whatever.
Yeah, you want to go right ahead.
It doesn't matter.
For the first time, we are doing this together in the same room. Hopefully, we'll be able to do more of this, but it is very hard for the both of us to align and get together in the same room. But when we can, we're going to try to do the best that we can. And so far, we are here to talk about things that we've been up to. What have you been up to, Unfit?
Just before we'll go into that, of course, basically, yes, we have our own lives. Of course, we're not going to dive into them because they're our own personal stuff. But you know how that goes. Life is life. You know, starting new year and everything. But it is what it is. Anyway, how I've been doing? I've been doing actually quite fine. Very, very, very tired, even though I'm still in a semester break.
Yeah, it rained today a lot.
A lot.
So the both of us.
But then again, no owl on the asphalt road anymore. So that's a little bit better, I guess, for handling.
Yeah, no more oil and no more like stuff, because a lot of people don't know it. But where we're from, it's usually hot like 8 months of the year. Like, it is hot as
yes,
it's really hot. And a big problem that we have is sometimes we get a lot of oils on the roads, and when we have our first rain, a lot of those oils come up and they can cause a lot of
accidents
and things beyond. Yeah,
to drive very, very carefully in the first rain or two, and then it just becomes better. But then it's just still the problem that you need to drive carefully because it's raining, and however things work.
Yeah. So what have you been up to during this during the break? Have you been doing fun things?
I've been doing fun things. I've actually been evolving my channel. I know we hit 5,000 subscribers. I already talked about that, but I'm just doing things and trying to evolve stuff. And I'm also thankful for you purchasing for me a new mic and everything. In order of the things that you ordered for yourself.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell this story. So basically, I have a laptop, a Dell Inspiron 7577. If anyone is interested. And I'm a bit of an abusive owner, and let's put it this way: the battery came to the point where it was able to charge for 5 seconds, and it was losing battery. The battery was dying,
dead.
I actually have it in the room, but I'm not going to go there.
So that means that you shouldn't never ever have a dog. But that regardless and beside the point.
I don't want a dog. But okay. Anyway, so I was about to talk about how I just needed a new battery, and where we're from, we have Amazon, but shipping is only free when you have if you have a cart over $50. And there's another side to it where we're from. If you buy something over $70, you have to pay taxes. So the sweet spot is between $50 and $70 on Amazon. So the items I needed costed me $35-ish. $35. I don't remember the exact. I can look it up, but really, that's not the point. The point is, if I bought that, shipping would have been $20. And I kind of don't want to pay Amazon for shipping. I'm fine with free shipping. So I was thinking to myself, what can I do to elevate not only the podcast, but also elevate my friend's life, something that won't hurt me, because I don't need anything from Amazon at the moment. But he could use something like that, because he is at the moment not in the best. I shouldn't say that you're not in the best financial place, but you can't spend money on. I mean, I'm not saying
I cannot spend money. Just I want to save money because
we all want to save money. Yes.
And college and all that
college
stuff.
Is expensive.
Even though my college is not I would say the most expensive thing in the world, it's still expensive. It's still 3,000 grand a year.
So I'd rather buy my friend a decent, a really good $20 mic. I did a lot of research before buying this, and I threw it into the cart. I bought it. We picked it up. I set OBS on his computer. It works perfectly. Yeah, it sounds good. The only problem that with that mic, I'll admit, is that you cannot put it really on a great boom on an arm.
It's fine. It's probably going to be enough for me anyway.
No, it's really good. I tested it myself. So now a little thing. I'm out of college. Unfit here is not. So
I'm in my third year. Yes, I know.
So I have a little bit of time, and after work every day, I like to play video games.
Yes. Also, it was a nice early birthday present before my usual birthday. That if you are one of my subscribers, you know when that is. But regardless, beside the point, Yeah, it's just playing video games is fun, and it sounds like you want to talk about some particular video game.
Of course I do. So I just started playing a couple of weeks ago a brand new game. It's called Town of Salem, and I'm not going to tell you how many hours I have in Town of Salem. You're not going to rat me out.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'll rat myself out. 60 hours. It's 60 hours in like a month, and let me tell you something. The game is incredible. If you like social deduction games, this game is for you. I'm not trying to sell you out. I'm not going to tell you too much about
We're
it.
not even sponsored by anyone yet.
One day.
One day we'll reach that point.
No, so I love that game. I play that game when I have free time because I want to because there's a ranked ladder, and and if you get to like silver or gold or masters, you get special icons for the lobby. And even though it means nothing, I still want it.
It's still fun. Like one of the aspects that I really like sometimes in games, I know that's why it's also addictive. Is that like there are sometimes this particular point that you want kind of like a completionist thing. It's like I want to get this particular thing because I don't really want to get it because of like anything else. It's just more bragging rights.
Bragging rights is so fun. Let's be honest, we all live for bragging rights.
Let's be honest, yes, that's kind of the point for a lot of
people. Why do you think we do YouTube? Why do you think we get out of bed every day? For bragging rights.
Sure, that's why we're getting out of bed. But yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. If we can stay in bed all day, would you not want to stay in bed all day?
I mean...
There we go.
No. Staying in bed sleeping or staying in bed doing things?
Whatever, one or the other.
Doing things, sure, but also moving because my muscle can get atrophied, but that's beside the point. Yeah, if I could just live my life by doing absolutely nothing and not working, like, the song goes in our language, that is like, not working forever and not serving no man or something of that nature.
There is something like that.
Something like that. Is like, that's what I want to live my life, but of course it's not realistic.
No, it's not realistic.
It's not, unfortunately.
It can be.
Unless you're Elon Musk or someone of stature, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm just here to talk about. I'll just give you guys a little bit of an idea of what Town of Salem is. For those of you who don't know, you queue to a game. You get 15 players. Each player gets a role, and in that role, you have a little bit of abilities where you can check other people. You can do some other things. You're one of two factions. You're either the faction of the town or the faction
factions of imposters, but not enforcers. I forgot what their name is. I think that they're
called the Mafia.
The Mafia? They're not called the Cult, or is that some other deduction game?
I don't know. There's another faction called the Coven, but that's a whole different. That's like the DLC. You can buy the regular game. Everybody plays CAA Coven All Any. That's the best mode in
Town of Salem until they release a new one, if ever.
I don't think they will, but we know what
they might actually just never going to
have
release the new one.
Yeah,
but they're just going to improve and add new roles and add new stuff just to kind of like make the gameplay more interesting.
But it's a really fun game because you can be like a werewolf, a vampire, serial killer. You can pretty much be anything evil you ever wanted to be, and your whole
child murder. I'm just kidding.
That's a serial killer.
But a specific one, that extract the blood.
So if you think that Among Us got a little bit stale, but you still like the whole idea of the roles, I recommend that you actually look up players. There are some good people.
I'm hoping YouTube would not cancel us because of this particular sentence I said.
I hope so too. I may have to do some editing magic.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
So, anyways, I've been playing Town of Salem, and that's like my current favorite game. Do you have any favorite games that you remember?
I mean, I do have my favorite games that I remember, like for good reason. Even though it's like, some people might be looking at me, but you're supporting like a bad company now. It's like I'm remembering from the good old times when they were good, and it's actually the games. That's where when they finished creating that game, I think that's when all things kind of just like went downhill. And the games that I like the most actually is StarCraft. Like both of them. I like them a lot.
StarCraft 2 is better.
I mean, StarCraft 1, there's a particular thing that you could say that like it's perfect in the way that it is. Because that's the reason why StarCraft 2 was sold for less, because StarCraft 1 was just like perfect for competitive play. But on the other hand, it's like, but if it's perfect, why is it fun? I want to kind of do wacky stuff and do some crazy things.
All right,
that are just like different.
I played a little bit of StarCraft, but run me over. You start off your team. You start off like in this location. You need to gather materials. What's your
it's basically this, okay? If we're not talking about campaign, I'm talking about player versus player. You have 3 factions. You know what the 3 factions are, or should I
I forget. Go over them.
Never mind. Terrans, which are humans that have transformers, basically. A lot of buildings and things that can move, and essentially also like units that can change forms.
Okay.
They're machines, and they're kind of like focused. They have a lot of mechanical units, although they have their own biological units, and they're also the only ones that can repair and also heal their units. Which
I remember those. Yeah, I remember those.
You have Zerg, which are probably the cheapest one out of the 3. They're basically built really, really fast, and they're more aggressive where it comes to some particular things. They're kind of like building a bigger, like that's the name of their faction, the Swarm. They're kind of building a swarm, and then they're kind of like, a lot weaker. And the Protoss, which are very, very strong, their units cost a lot more, and they also have something else.
They're the ones that cost the green stuff, right?
The green stuff? No, the green stuff we'll talk about in a second. It's basically, the green stuff is in a second. But the point is that they have shields. That means that like they cannot repair or heal, but they have like a double kind of health. That recovers
that's
quickly.
That's OP.
No, it's mean like, for example, let's say I'm taking I don't know, the basic unit, the Zealot, the Zealot, not the Zealot. The Marine will have like 55 after upgrades. A Zealot that basically costs double have I believe 100 HP and 50 shield or something really, really high, because they're melee, and also because of the fact that like they're supposed to cost more for the most part. So that's kind of like the point of them.
What are the ones that are called the ones that have like the backpack?
Reapers?
Yeah, Reapers.
I love Reapers.
I love Reapers so much.
They were so bad in the first expansion, but when they evolved them in Heart of the Swarm, which just like the first expansion of the
and I love that you knew exactly what I was talking about.
They became so good.
They're OP.
They became their own tactic, basically.
I played a little bit PvE a couple weeks ago of StarCraft 2, just to get back into it.
I need to get back into it. Like I wouldn't say like the high end, but I was in a high level enough to kind of like play, and like I'm so rusty.
I remember learning about Reapers, and I was like, I'm just gonna spam Reapers.
So the things that you mentioned basically is government resource. The green stuff is called Vespine gas, and the blue stuff is minerals. Now minerals is the thing that you
need the most. Yeah,
you need for most things. There are some things that need more gas, which are the more expensive and so-called unique units that focus more on gas. But the point is, minerals is the thing that gets you going, and then you're just like starting to build bases. Because in the old games, right, or should I say the old expansions, you were a little bit more focusing on like kind of like having 1 base or 2 bases and 3. Now they did something really, really smart and interesting for our Legacy of the Void, which is the last expansion. That's basically they give you less resources, more workers at the start, and essentially just like kind of like how should I say, like push you to actually expand more and create more choke points and more interesting like playstyle and everything.
I remember all that stuff, because I remember that when I was playing PvE a couple weeks ago, just against the computer to see.
Are you playing in the level of Wings of Liberty or of Legacy of the Void?
I think Legacies of the Void.
I don't remember how they kind of like gave people free access. I think they gave the multiplayer for everyone, and just the campaign.
This is just PvE.
No. The multiplayer, the PvE, they gave for everyone.
Yeah.
And then the campaign, they gave just the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just touched the PvE because I'm big into PvE. I don't know. A lot of people like PvP. Here's something I have to rant about that I hate about PvP. PvP is so dumb because 99% of all PvP is determined by your internet connection.
God. I also remind
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Also, it's remind me also of something really funny that I kind of like did, which I remember this. It's kind of like one of the funniest games I ever played. It wasn't like any cheating or anything, which I kind of like back in the day. I'm not sure if like today I will because Protoss are technically, I would say, easier than Zerg. I think Zerg is the most hardest race out of all of them, and I kind of like did something called spawning pool. At least back in the day. And it was like immediately just going into the main building and essentially just sending Zerglings to the opponent. And he was so furious. One of the players was so furious that thought he just said, I will report you. You're cheating. Why? Because I was faster than him.
I'm telling you, PvP is stupid because it's all about how much money did you throw into your connection. 99% of people don't have the money to buy.
Yeah, only the high level players are just like in that vein of like people even interested in, or just like PvP in general. Like I do like that's one of the things that I will also just before we'll finish this because in StarCraft 2 there's some particular smart thing that they created called kind of like I believe co-op in like commanders, which basically each one of you pick a commander and then you're going against the PvE, which then it's kind of depending on your connection, but it's still fun to play with a friend, kind of like helping each other and doing some particular tasks together, which is pretty cool, I guess.
I don't know. It's just the thing about StarCraft 2 is that it had a lot of the sweats, a lot of not just the sweats, a lot of like the German cheaters. Let's call a spade a spade. I remember that 99% of the time when I used to like go into like all of these lobbies with Unreal Tournament, Doom, and like back in the day, 99% of all the cheaters were German. I'm not trying to say that all Germans are cheaters. I'm just saying that you always heard like. You always saw them.
There always will be cheaters, German cheaters, Russian cheaters.
Russian cheaters are a little.
I'm not saying like just trying to be like again, just trying to go against the Germans or the Russians. There always will be cheaters.
There's also American cheaters. Like there's this one guy who I don't know if you guys heard about. He's not a confirmed cheater yet.
In Pokemon.
No, not in Pokemon. We're talking about something else. We're talking about chess now. We're going.
Oh, that's the one that you talked about.
Hans Niemann. Yes.
Hans.
His name is Hans Niemann. So a little bit of an update. We're talking right now.
It's not Hassan, right? It's
no. Okay. Hans.
I'm just like confused.
No, you're not thinking. You're thinking.
I'm not following about all the streamers and everything.
So I'll give you a little bit of a background, just a little bit.
Okay.
So Magnus Carlsen, the best player in the world right now.
Okay.
The king of chess. This is not me being sarcastic. I actually do think he's the best player at the moment. Lost around a month and a month plus ago to a month and a half ago to Hans Niemann. And Magnus Carlsen was like, I feel like this guy is using an engine because I, as a best player, can recognize when someone's using engine
to help them.
Engine level moves. And
what do you mean engine level moves?
Okay, so there is a program on your PC that you can install that's called Stockfish. Now Stockfish basically does calculations of up to 1,000 steps ahead in chess and tells you the exact best move that you can do in order to win. Now, from what we can tell, no human can beat Stockfish. That's impossible. Stockfish is the best player in the world. It's not human. So usually when players are really, really good, they're able to get 60+% moves that correlate with Stockfish. Like it's around 60% what Stockfish would have done. Perfect, right? You know what we call those? We call those super grandmasters. There are like 3 or 4 players in history who are over 70%. Bobby Fischer, Magnus Carlsen, and they're like I think Nepo is like the third one, and there's like another one, but it's like they're really, really, really rare. Now Hans Niemann's games from over the board or over the table from the past 2 years have been in the 90%, and he had like one game of 100%.
And they're not confirmed because they're not doing it face to face.
Because no. This is face to face, but it's like the way that they cheat in chess is they have like all of these like little vibrating machines, like or something like that.
Oh, that tell them kind of like where to go.
That tell them like if you're doing something wrong or if you're missing something. It's not necessarily people don't know, and that's where the whole bead story. If I don't know if anybody has heard about this, but we are recording this, and this is important for the timeline because when you hear about this could be like in a month from now, or
could be.
We because we have a lot of episodes uploading and this is recording around the time that we're going to release the first episode. Not the point. Point is, yesterday or 2 days ago, Hans Niemann filed a $100 million lawsuit against Chess.com, Magnus Carlsen, and Hikaru Nakamura and Play Magnus. Basically trying to see what would stick, in my opinion. But the point is, Magnus Carlsen called him a cheater flat out.
Right.
And he said that he believed, and Chess.com confirmed that Hans lied about the amount of time they cheated because Hans went out and said, I only cheated twice. And they were like, no, you cheated 111 times. And they,
oh my God.
And they took out a 72 PDF. I read this PDF where they went through like the entire game and everything where they suspect they cheated in their website. So it's like he's been confirmed to be a cheater. He already admitted it to them. But he only cheated online and never over the table. And now there's an over the table, and it's like
Teachers never learn.
No, they never learn. But it's like but you know what game is fun cheating at?
Which one?
Age of Empires 2, baby. Have you ever played that game?
I have played that game, but like, how do you cheat in Age of Empires?
Oh, that's amazing. So basically, you in Age of Empires 2, you open the chat tab and they have a list of commands. If you put them in, you basically get more wood, more resources.
Oh, it's like codes in like Warcraft 3, but they're also working on PvP.
Age of Empires came out before Warcraft.
Yeah,
3.
I know what you mean.
Yes.
But it's the same idea.
Yeah, same idea. So basically, I used to play that all the time, and I used to spam. How do you turn this on? Do you know what? How do you turn?
I always find Age of Empires like a fun game, but also just too different for me to kind of like
Get into.
Not because of the fact that it's bad, it's just like the fact that like you don't really have limitations, which that's why I kind of like StarCraft and Warcraft 3 for that, is because like if you have limitations, kind of like more condensed into something. It's
the limitations. The limitations was due to the technology of the time.
Yeah, but you understand what I mean. It just created, in my opinion, a better experience overall.
You're right, but the thing that you need to remember is when Age of Empires 2 came out, which was in like 99 or 2000, most computers had like hard drives of 60 gigabyte, 100 gigabyte max. Like you had like the high end was 120 gigabytes, which was like insane.
Today we have teras.
Today we have petas.
Seriously?
Yes.
Higher than teras already?
We've been higher than teras over 10 years ago.
Petas is how much is that?
At
No, but I understand like petas, but like computers most of the time like.
Oh no, I don't think there are computers with petas yet.
We have computers with teras max. Yes, I think
we have
without also counting the thing that they're taking, so it's technically 989 gigabytes technically, but whatever.
That's for the operating system.
Yes.
No, so it's all good fun. So I remember just going spamming. How do you turn this on? Watching a bunch of cars going to take down the Roman Empire from 4,000 years ago. You know, that kind of stuff. And I just had a great time doing this stuff. I don't know. It's all good fun. It's really all good fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Play sometimes old stuff.
But we always have to go back to our bread and butter when we're gaming. Card games. We're both big on card games. I play a lot of Pokemon. Well, I haven't been playing a lot recently, but I still play it like once a week. Seriously, like for a good hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. And I'm more of like, Yu-Gi-Oh! But the problem is like it's really hard to go to tournaments because of reasons that I'm not going to get into.
We can get into a little bit of the reasons. The biggest reason is they're not big around us.
Not only big around us, but because they're also in like a bad time of the week. Like they're kind of like Fridays and Saturdays, which are not good time for us. Which
for reasons.
Yes.
For reasons, and no, but also like where we live, the closest tournament that maybe exists, maybe
if they're even like an actual tournament,
is going to be an hour and a half away from us or something like that.
It's like even with a car, let's say I'm driving to like the closest one that we have, it's like
45 minutes.
Yeah, first off, you need to book in advance. Like it just becomes like sometimes they're just doing it in the morning and like in bad hours. And
we have work, we have life.
Yes, and the only place I can remember that are not actually doing it just for children or stuff like that is somewhere that like 2 hours or so away.
It's not worth our time. Like we can get to that. And for Pokemon, it's the same thing. We have maybe 7 tournaments a year in Pokemon, and it's like these aren't serious tournaments. These are closer to what a lot of people would consider to be locals.
Yeah.
And we're not, and what we're talking about when we're talking about events, you'd consider these events to be locals because that we would have maybe 30 to 40 players tops.
Yes.
The prize would be a box of not even a box.
Not bad.
You're right,
okay,
10 packs.
But...
It would be like 10 packs.
Yeah, for Yu-Gi-Oh players, maybe it will be like a box or maybe like a box or like 20 OTS packs, maybe, which is decent.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, but it's like
the entry fee for at least Pokemon here would be around $30 to $40 for locals.
I don't think for us it's that high, but it is around the vein of like 25.
Because
It's high. It just I'm going to say this is like I'm not saying like we're sad about our lives. Just where it comes to our some of our hobbies, it's just a shame that it is like this.
Yeah, this is like
I'm still enjoying playing like online versions of Yu-Gi-Oh, even though
same
like
with Pokemon.
Master Duel, I'm not really into it anymore. Not
Oh
because
my
of the fact that
God.
it's like it's bad. It's honestly just became boring
Oh my
in
God.
a way.
I gotta read out. I gotta read out to you guys. So I'm in a Discord server of a certain player. I'm not gonna go too high into it, but we have a certain kid who joined. He's around 15 to 16 years old, and the Pokemon has a TCG. Basically, I'm not gonna. We've talked about this before, and
Yeah.
we have a ladder. And we have this kid on the Discord who's like going on, I have an 18 win streak on the ladder. And I'm like, nobody cares about your deck. And he's going like, I think that ladder games tell more than tournaments. And I'm like, are you
But why did
kidding
you
me?
think that? Are you serious?
I'm like, you're definitely 15 or 16 if you believe that. But it's like,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna share his name or his username because
It's not fair for him, even though it's kind of funny.
But let's just call him Drake. Okay,
Sure.
that's not his name, by the way.
Yeah, sure. I am just.
I know. His name is on the Discord, but I'm not gonna say. But we have people on the Discord who are like, funny. I haven't seen the name Drake in winning tournaments, and people are just like, you have like a bunch of 20 years olds, including myself, who are just mocking him for thinking that the ladder games matter. Guys, ladder games don't matter. You know what the only thing that ladder games is good for? The one good thing, in my opinion, that ladder games do is they tell you how well the deck is running for you. Like,
Yeah.
if you need more support,
If you need to change some particular cards, you need to adapt.
let's say you have three. Let's say you have three of a certain card, and you're like, I can get away probably with two. And for a lot of players, that would be the difference of because with decks, it's like draw is very important. And if you have, and statistically, if you have a smaller deck, you have a better chance of drawing a specific card that you need. So many times, let's say let's say you're like, okay, I have three. I don't know what card. Call of the Haunt. Is that banned yet?
It's not bad. It's not even good anymore.
You're right. But let's say hypothetically, I have three Call of the Haunted. I've seen now on ladder I can get away with two. That stuff ladder is amazing for. Ladder lets you know,
Yeah.
like that kind of
Even
stuff.
though it's like more for casual players and like when you're taking it for bigger events, it's different. And also one of the things that Master Duel kind of like doing good but also bad is the fact that it's have its own format. In one way, it's good because it's just giving you a different format if you're just tired of the current format and like TCG or whatever you're playing. Which is good, and it's also just behind, so you can actually enjoy the previous meta. But it's also bad for the fact that it's like, I can't really adapt to the actual meta games that I'm going to play. Maybe it's actually going to adapt me for Worlds, maybe, but most of us are not going to arrive to Worlds, so...
None of us can afford to go to Worlds.
Yes, so I'm like, not really care about that. Not to mention the fact that it's like, the moment that you hit, like, I'm not even saying Diamond. The moment that you hit Platinum in Master Duel, one of the biggest problems, even though there are some cool things that you can play in stories...
Everyone's playing the same dead brain
It's
deck.
not even dead deck, it's just, there's really nothing to do. It's like, there is no really events or anything. They even just, focused on Master Duel, forgot about Duel Links, and then remembered Duel Links and gave it support and everything and just doing some really, really cool things with it. And now they're also creating another game called Cross Duel. I think that's the name of that. And now kind of like Master Duel is kind of like forgotten in the sideline.
It's like that meme.
Really.
It's like that meme with the mother holding the child over the water. Then you see another child choking, and then you see like a skeleton in the bottom.
Yes. So it was supposed to be back in the day. It was supposed to be Duel Links in the bottom, but whatever. And now it's just switched places. That Duel Links is the one that's choking. Or maybe Cross. I don't know. I just don't really follow the actual online games or whatever, because it's like, one thing I would say is just, it's not that it's not fun to play, but unlike physical card game, it just, you're going to meet the same kind of degenerate decks. Not to mention the fact is like, you either going to not meet a person in your same level.
Monkey flip.
Not even monkey flip. I'm talking about like decks that are just like really weird and funky and just like, I'm going to beat you in a second. Like, it's just so, like, it's fun to play, but it's also just like really, really sad. On the other hand, the other card game I enjoy to play online, which haven't changed, because let's be honest, Ben Brode kind of just hit the mark where it comes to actually creating a card game before he created Marvel Snap, which I might be interested in checking out, but not sure.
Yeah, Marvel Snap came out like Marvel a week or two ago. I saw it on a
came out of beta, or it just come out for beta for everyone?
I think for everyone. I saw it on a ProZD.
I need to check that out.
Oh, ProZD. Okay, a little bit of a background because I want to get into this. My best friend in the Pokemon scene. Not gonna give his name. Both of us are really big into cow memes. Don't question it. Don't question it. Don't question it. Trust me. Cow memes.
I will not question it, but I will judge you.
No. We have Miltank and we have.
Okay.
We have.
I will still judge you.
Okay. So ProZD released a couple of days ago, like a video where he was making up a card game made out of cows.
Remember that? That's so funny. I love that video. It's so hilarious.
So me and my friend from Pokemon were like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
He also created a one before.
He's very talented, Pro.
Yes.
I love him. No,
I don't really like. I'm not saying I don't care about him because I do like his videos. I don't really care about watching like the thing that he's doing longer videos because I don't really have the time.
No, but his shorts
are amazing.
His shorts are worth it. I watched them 10 times, and let me tell you something. I'm probably gonna watch him a couple more times before I go to sleep tonight.
Oh.
No, because the cow video, and I know that you watched it, the one with the cow cards. So me and my friend were like, Pokemon TCG is no longer our best friend. Bessie TCG is our new best friend. No, so when I saw that Ben Rhodes was like...
Anyway, Ben Rhodes created like Hearthstone in a really, really good way, and just like, oh yeah, my Marvel Snap is out. So it's kind of interesting.
It's all the same.
I'm not really...
I love it all.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love it all, and I also like Runeterra because like every one of these 3 games have their own interesting aspect, and that's why I kind of like also like online games to be online games, like, you know, card games, because they have one particular mechanics that physical card game cannot do.
Anti-cheat?
No, discovering, like, you know, manifesting cards out of like thin air.
Yeah,
which
I know what you mean.
Like, I know it could be frustrating for us to play against, but it's so fun.
You know what
every game is different.
You know what I love about these games? I don't have to shuffle the deck.
You know, another thing that I love about these games is that you cannot really... Well, you can cheat in them, but they're also just... Every one of them feel different, even though you're playing, like, the same deck.
Yeah.
And, like, people hate RNG, but, like, I don't really want to play just a deck. Like, again, another card game that just... Everything is just, like, set in stone, and there's really nothing that you can just actually change, right?
That's not entirely true.
I mean, like, you understand what I mean?
Yeah, the sense
Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh!, even though they're the top games and they're amazing, don't get me wrong.
All 3 of them are amazing.
All 3 of them are amazing. Anyone who said that one is better, you're right in your own way. Anyone who's saying one of these is trash
is wrong.
Even though I don't play Magic or even I don't really care about Pokemon, I do think all 3 of them are great because they're all bringing their own different kind of thing into the table.
Yes.
And just... Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the fast one. Pokemon is the more, like...
Flashy one.
And Magic is the more strategy thinking one. Yeah, intense one. And have some different kind of, like, you know, a lot of formats, which is pretty interesting, which I wish Yu-Gi-Oh! had.
By the way, I just want to make something clear. When we say that Pokemon is the flashy one, it's not necessarily because of the flashy cards, or because of the fact
it's more of the cool things that you can do.
Let me explain to you something that we've said a million times and we'll say it a million more times. Pokemon is the only card game that has a concept of multiple times during the game, discard your hand, draw 7. Yes. That is super flashy.
That is super flashy compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! Which, if that's what happened in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the game would be dead and broken, which it already is.
Magic players feel the same way about the discard draw 7. They say, doesn't matter in what situation, discard draw 7 is insane.
Yes.
I have a friend who plays Magic. He said, discard draw 3.
Maybe we should bring him one time and actually do Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon.
Maybe. Well, one of my friends who plays Magic, he says discard draw 3 would see 5 of in every deck they can go into.
5 in? You can only play 4.
Yeah, but you know
so
what I mean.
He's exaggerating because
no. He said that drawing in Magic and drawing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like in Pokemon,
It's intentional because they're just creating the game to be faster and faster, which is also another topic. But let's just finish the thing is with Hearthstone and stuff like that.
I love Hearthstone.
I love these games very, very much because of the fact that they're just creating different kind of experience or they're different kind of thing. And speaking about games getting faster, every card game is getting faster. I'm just going to leave this as a side tangent, not really even a tangent, but actual thing. They're making it faster because of one thing. They want to save people time so they will play more, or they can actually like commit time to play it.
I actually have a different. I have a different theory.
Right.
Okay. My theory is simple. The people who played these games are the same people, and they're not bringing the younger generation into these games. And a lot of the people who are playing these games are now like in their 20s and 30s and 40s, and they don't have time to play like 5 games in 2 hours.
Right. Even though Magic is still 1 game in 2 hours can be.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. And they're like, okay, if we want to keep this player base and if we want them to continue and buy our products, we have to make the cards that make games go faster, because faster games gives people, work, okay, we have a lunch break, we have 25 minutes, I can eat for 5 and we can play for 20. We can play like 2 games in 20 minutes, and a lot of people aren't going to be into that. Instead of saying, we have 20 minutes, maybe we can start a game, and maybe finish.
Yeah, because it's just giving you the time that you can actually like. I like that. Don't get me wrong, I just wish that some particular games have like, the format that is fast and the format that is slow, so it's giving you some kind of like particular, like every card it will be viable, whatever, if you want to get into that, but like you will have formats and things that will kind of make the game more interesting, which is also another thing that Master Duel can do, actually make the games and give you different kind of formats.
So back to Hearthstone, have you been checking the recent packs or no?
Recent packs? Or
Sets, I mean.
Yes, I've been playing the recent set. I'm actually very happy about the recent set.
Really? How's the Elo ladder feeling like?
I mean, I'm playing more for fun, not for Legend anymore. But like, it feels a lot better because almost
How much stuff do you have?
I don't really have a whole lot, but I do have like 18,000, which is decent.
Okay, you can build
for a person that's saved.
You can build a couple of new decks.
Yeah. It's for a person who's saved, and essentially every single set I have like the entire.
How much is a diamond?
Diamond?
Not diamond.
Legendary?
Yeah.
32 is the golden one, 16 is the non-golden one.
You can build it. You can build it.
I mean, I'm going to say this is like I can build a deck, but like I already have everything in standard, so I don't really care. Like I have everything in the current set.
Standard to date.
Yeah, standard, and then there will be a rotation, and then I'll have to do
rotation is so healthy for the game.
In some games, yes.
In all games.
I'm just going to say I'm going to be biased for Yu-Gi-Oh, but whatever. I mean, I can see that, but
you know what card I want them to rotate in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Which one?
Heroes, all of them.
I'm not hating Heroes. I'm going to say this. I don't hate Heroes for anybody who love Heroes as a deck. I'm just getting tired of them getting so much support compared to other decks that need it. I understand why that they're doing it, but I still don't like it because getting in like 2 years ago, a revamp for whole heroes, and then right now a revamp for whole heroes again to give them new support, like all the lines of heroes. I don't think it's fair for other decks.
You know what deck needs support? Ancient Gear Golem. They really do.
I think it's overdue for them to get a new support. The last time of support that they got,
like a year or 2 ago, no?
No, more than that. That's why it's kind of weird to me that they haven't like given them kind of like a support recently, because it's been like so long. What is it called again? No, it's not Ancient. It's a Legendary Duelist.
Oh wait, that came out 5 years ago. No,
yes. Something about that. List 2. Which came out in Legendary, not Season 2, Season 1. I want Season 1, if we're talking about that. So, not this one. I hate it when they're doing what they want to. Legendary Season 1, let's take, for example, I don't know, Agent Gear Fusion, which was such an expensive card.
How much was it? Like $20?
It was like like for a card that it is, that's why I didn't really purchase it for a while. It was like about
$30?
30 or so over card, like
$30 is so much.
So it was the set itself was released 2018, The legendary version of this was released in 2020. Then you got another reprint in 2021.
Oh, they have a reprint. That's nice.
Yeah, so now I actually purchased it in a really decent price, but 2 years ago. But look at this. Agent Gears, the last support wave they got was 2018.
2018 was 4 years
And there are
ago,
some decks like, I don't know, Heroes or Cyber Dragons or things of that nature, which I understand they're more popular.
Or Dark Magician.
Yeah, but and all those, I get it. They're more popular. I get that. That they got support like, a year ago or something of that nature.
You know what else needs like a little bit of a revamp in Yu-Gi-Oh?
What?
Links.
Links?
Yeah, that
Which
Link.
Links?
No, just add a new wave of Link monsters.
I think actually
I really liked Links.
I do think that there's some people who really hated Links, but I do think Links had
Link was healthy.
Links was healthy for the start of it. Then it came out of control, and people also hated it because fusion synchros and Xyz cannot be special summoned except for the zones like every other thing, which kind of I understand why it was frustrating, but I understand why they did that in order to kind of push the Link mechanic. Now we're actually in the point that you can actually do Master Rule 5, which is really, really good. But also, I think we're actually really close to a new Master Rule, even though some people will say to me, oh, but there is no new anime or everything, but Konami like to do a Master Rule. I notice that almost every 3 years. We're entering the last set of these 3 years for the OCG called Cyberstorm Access, meaning that we're going to get the support for new Link monsters, and then we might going to get a new, actually maybe summoning mechanics to make the game more interesting, or a new Master Rule that are going to change things. If there was one thing that I actually want them to change, even though some people will just going to yell at me, is actually bring back field spells to only one. And when you switch a field spell, just switch the
like in
spell.
Pokemon.
Because that will create so much more healthy game, especially because Mystic Mine that is not banned for a very, very long time. And
you had way too much fun with it.
Yes, I hate Mystic Mine.
Yeah.
I know that people will say, "Oh, Mystic Mine is the best card in the format. You should play it and side playing it."
Yes, we know it's the best card in the format.
I hate it with a passion. Okay, I understand this is a good card. I get it, there are some good cards, but it doesn't mean I have to be the toxic player and actually play it. Anyway, side tangent over. Anything else we would like to add for that before we move on for other really interesting things?
Yeah, actually. So, all that is like old games, old stuff. I've been thinking, in How I Met Your Mother, Barney Stinson always said, new is always better, new is always better. But the real question is new always better? Because recently the new Batman game came out, the Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that it's just mid. Now, the Gotham Knights
supposed to be based around the same idea of the Gotham games, Batman. Arkham
yeah,
Asylum,
but instead of but this time around, I think Batman is not in the game, and
I think he's dead or something.
I don't remember.
The story doesn't matter. Talking about mechanics and everything before.
Mechanics and everything, they say it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's basically the same thing, but
all of these games live and die by the story. Because
yes,
I remember there was a game that came out 10 years ago. Was it? It was a Spider-Man game, Shutterglass or something like that.
Shutterglass.
Where I'll tell you the premise. I remember playing this. Where it basically you're Spider-Man and you're like a Spider-Man with other your Shattered Dimensions. That's what it was called.
Okay.
Shattered Dimensions. Oh, that was an amazing game. Where I'm going to have to say what's it called? The mechanics were okay. They weren't as good as they should have been, but the story carried the game, and that was like an incredible game. And they say that the new Gotham Knights the mechanics are great, but the story is just boring. Where you have a buffed Nightwing who is basically, they overbuffed him because they want him to be Batman, but
he wanted to be him also the main character, basically. Even though they had Red Robin there, Red Robin would have been a much better main character. But then again, a lot of people just look at Dick Grayson as the main kind of protege for Batman, even though he's not really.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Why? Because he's the first Robin.
Because he's the first Robin, yeah.
And people really like him because of that. And when you ask people who's Robin is, everybody know who Dick Grayson is.
Yeah, but nobody knows who Jason Todd is.
Yes.
And that's sad. Jason Todd was a really interesting. The movie of Jason Todd, Under the Red Hood, If you haven't watched
He's
it,
also in this game, right?
yes,
Isn't Todd and Barbara Gordon and what's the last one?
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake, right?
Tim Drake. Tim Drake is my favorite. Tim Drake is the smartest Robin. They say that when it comes down to like smarts, they say he's smarter than Batman or something like that. And I think that's like the whole point of Batman, because Batman, even though he technically does have a little bit of superpowers that people don't like to really admit, like he has a little bit of psychic resistance and a little bit of.
I mean, it's probably something that he got more of like resistance buffs more than superpowers.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's more of resistance buffs, but it's like that's pretty cool. Cool. It's like people like to forget that Batman is like super trained to everything. His mind, his body is and everything, and it's like, yeah, there's some stuff that you can actually do that's beyond like a psychological. Like you can actually go to like I think he went to the Himalayas or something like that to like get psychic training. And then there's a movie with Spectre or I don't remember who. Where basically there's like this ghost who's trying to contact Batman. He goes into his body, and Batman gets kicked. Batman kicks him out of his.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Justice League Dark, I think.
Yeah, Justice League Dark.
I love that movie. It's so funny.
It's not just funny; it's so great. I don't remember. Is this the one where Batman sings in the end?
No, that's another one. That's actually an episode in Justice League.
Oh yeah, no. Also, there's also I think in a movie.
Not this one.
Not this one though. There's so many Batman movies, and they're all so good.
I would say there are some that are less good than others, but I kind of just got to say this. Like, I know that there are some people who say, like, oh, but there are some bad ones. Like, even if they're bad, they're not, like, terrible. They're not the worst thing I saw.
But, you know what makes, like, Batman so great? The villains.
Yes.
Oh, the villains are so great.
I did not really say, like, I know that there are some people who didn't really like Gotham by Gaslight or whatever that's called, the one that it was, like, I think the 1800s or something of that nature.
I don't remember it, but I believe
But the point is, I love the fact that the villain wasn't actually, like, maybe a scarecrow or something, that the villain was actually...
scary.
No, it was someone that, like, I wouldn't say we wouldn't expect what you kind of didn't expect, which was, like, Jim Gordon himself. Which was a pretty interesting twist.
Oh yeah, no, but you know what? You know what I love about the Batman villains? They all have not just a personality, a relatable.
I mean, they're all circus, freaks that Alfred paid to in order to keep Batman not.
That's a meme.
Yeah, I know.
No, so what I'm saying is, even like all of his villains are like so like interesting and intriguing that they even created another team. The Suicide Squad.
Yes, just to take him down.
No, not to take him down.
Not to take him down, but like made out of his villains.
Yeah.
Rogue gallery.
And even like the movies are good. Even the second movie, which everybody likes to bash, like
Which one?
Not the second, the first one, the Suicide Squad.
Oh, that one.
It wasn't as bad as people say it was. It was definitely not good. It was not good, but
it was 10 times, if not more, better than the actual Justice League movie. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, but there was even a game, right?
Which one?
The
Which one? A Batman game.
the Suicide Squad to kill the Justice League.
Oh, the one that announced that one. The one that I actually remember that I want to talk about and I forgot about because you're
talking.
Yes. This
no,
one.
I also want to play it. It looks so good.
It's just a game that like I don't think it's out yet. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be released at the end of the year. I don't remember the release date exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Point is, it's pretty interesting. Like, it could be, again, a bad game, like, just like a mid game, right? Like Gotham Knights. But the premise, at least, it's very interesting and kind of funny. And it's also like they actually picked heroes that are like, or heroes, villains, characters that actually like it looks like they have chemistry, at least in the trailer.
No, they're heroes.
Right, they're heroes. But the point is, it's like unlike Gotham Knights, it doesn't really feel like a gritty version of like the game and everything. It's like the trailer actually looks pretty thrilling, and it's like the Suicide Squad always have like this kind of energy that it's fun and quirky and everything of that nature.
They're going to die.
That's the point. And just saying like an idiot, a monster, and whatever they're saying in the trailer, and then it's just saying you're perfect.
You're perfect
for the job. So it's kind of interesting.
No, you know what I really love about every single Suicide Squad story ever told?
What?
Rick Flag. He is so great.
And he always dies.
No,
Not really.
No, he never dies. Actually, isn't the whole in like his whole shtick that he always manages to outsmart Amanda?
He didn't die. He did die in Suicide Squad 2, the reboot of Suicide Squad, technically. The Suicide Squad. But it's actually created a pretty interesting idea why he died. He was killed because of Peacemaker.
Boo.
You know why he was killed by Peacemaker?
No, why was he killed by Peacemaker? I didn't.
Because
watch
he
the
kind of,
movie.
again, gone again Amanda. And the point is was like, Peacemaker wanted to stop him because he was sent by Amanda to just keep the peace. And then it was also kind of like a launch spin for, what is his name again? John Cena, to create his own series of like...
John Wick.
John Wick. No, but I think Peacemaker
John Wick is now
actually
is now canon
to the DC verse.
DC verse.
But I actually think like some people maybe don't really like Peacemaker, but I think it's actually was a pretty good show.
Take a peek
It was. It has its own problems of like maybe uncensoring some political things you should have, but regardless of that,
do you recommend anyone listening to watch Peacemakers?
I mean, it's depending what kind of like.
How many episodes does it have?
It have 8.
Oh,
if you are
8 of 40. 8 of 40.
8. Yes, all of them 40. It's a pretty interesting.
So 40 minutes per episode. That would be around.
Maybe some
three
of
them are 2 hours. So 4, 5 to 6 hours.
Yes.
Okay, that's not terrible.
And also, I would say, just a warning for anybody who's care about like nudity and seeing some particular things. There are some points, unfortunately, and HBO Max have to show, because for some reason they think it's like a thing that everybody watch, even though it's not really elevating every scene or anything. No,
they took a lot of the humor and a lot of creativity they used to go into these shows. They replaced it with smut. And it's
not even a part of the smut. It's just seeing it as like part of the thing that they do. And it's like, I mean, sure, it happens, but you don't really. I don't really have to see it in order to kind of like appreciate the show or the thing or the characters, what they do.
No, I agree. Speaking of shows, we just started. Right now, we're into the second or third week of the new anime season.
Yeah, I think it's like third week. There are some anime shows that are like released 2 episodes together, and then they're like in their 4th episode now. But yeah, we're now in the new anime.
The highly anticipated for over 10 years. Over 10 years.
Oh my god! Did you watch the 2 episodes again?
Yes.
Again.
Yeah. No, again. I watched them twice.
I really like the way that they ended. Like, so I know how the story goes.
So before we continue, we both of us, me and Unfit, we're both talking about, of course, the Bleach 1,000-year Blood War arc.
Which finally it's going to push the top 3 to actually be top 3 again, to push Boruto art, and now we're going to have actually the good top 3 again.
The good top 3 being, of course, One Piece, Bleach,
and Black Clover.
Well, you know what? Black Clover is amazing, but no, I was going to make a JoJo joke, but never mind.
JoJo, I mean, it's cool and everything, but when are we going to get the second part of Stone Ocean?
In a couple of weeks.
Why it was taking so long? I don't understand that.
Because it's a very unique animation. I don't know.
I think it's actually kind of stupid. I think they should have done that in the way that... Like, one thing I love and also hate, I do love the binge things that you can do with Netflix, but on the other hand, it's kind of like live purpose, and now we can just release...
I don't know if you remember this. This is something I have to mention about JoJo. When the first part of
I think Stone Ocean was amazing.
No, I think that the first part of Stone Ocean did not do the story service. I think
there are some particular things that are they.
But I hope that the second part it can like bring it back because we both read the manga. At least I did. And you also did?
Yeah, I read like not in like actually read everything, but I know the general
story. It's supposed to be so good. We're not going to talk.
There are some people who think that's actually part 6 is not one of the Jolene
did not get the right treatment. She should have been treated better.
But then again, I think in part 9 she actually supposed to be the main character or whatever.
Again?
Not really, because part 7 to 9 is
technically the reboot. Yeah, reset.
Yes,
yeah.
I think it's just supposed to be the main character.
Please,
or whatever.
I need to look this up if they killed the dog again or not.
It's different because Stillborn Run is different. But again,
I'll look it up after.
yeah, I'm not going to spoil what happened in Stillborn Run because I do know what happened in Stillborn Run.
So back to Bleach.
Even though I'm going to say this right now.
Okay.
Okay, before we come back to Bleach, people think that Stillborn Run is the best arc in JoJo. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it. I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with it.
We have to wait and see.
Yes. I don't think it's the definite best, but it's just my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah, back to Bleach. So the first episode was, let's be honest, the
introduction.
The first 5 minutes was just so they could put that song on.
Slay.
That song is amazing. They redid it. If you don't know what the song is number one. Look it up. Number one Bleach.
Yeah.
It's an amazing song. It puts you in hype. Then you get
they did a remake of this one again,
and it slaps.
It's amazing. I need to kind of like get it to my Spotify and stuff.
If you want to see some action, you should totally listen to this. It's so good.
It's kind of hilarious though that like the second part of the song is just like the queen and the guy, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched Bleach, if you're listening and you have never watched Bleach, which I have no doubt in my mind that you have, if you haven't, go watch it. You
can just skip the
look up. Okay,
the filler arcs and just like
look up what filler arcs. Okay, the first arc that you should 100% skip, without a doubt, is the Bound arc.
I mean, the Bound arc. I'm going to say this, okay, before we'll just like move into Bleach and everything again.
Yeah,
like the Bound arc, even the fillers for Bleach compared to what fillers we have today.
It's pretty good.
They're good, really, really good. The Bound arc is just
boring.
Really dragging on and on. It's like 40 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like
it could have been done in 20.
I'm not even saying it could have been done in 20. It could have been done in 40 if you add more like meat into it.
There's not much more meat into it.
Like you could have just explore more into it, or like actually again do it in 20 and create a second arc that actually like maybe expand into that, or essentially just being its own thing.
I just hope that they do the anime justice this time around, and they stick to the script.
They stick to the script in the first 2 episodes for the most
sort of for the most part. Let's put it this way.
I mean, you cannot stick everything to the script, even though people really want to.
But the main parts, because last time they dragged on. They put in a lot of music and stuff, and it got you real emotional. And many times it just did not pan out because most of the time you've either relived this enough times where you see Ichigo crying because he can't protect everyone that he wants to, and you see it again and again and again, and you just get tired of that,
Yeah, they kind of just dragged it a little bit, which that's why I actually think specifically why the Fullbringer arc is an arc that people don't really like that much.
I love it.
I think it's amazing.
I honestly think
because you are getting into the point that you just like really
he's not a whiny 15-year-old anymore.
No. Like you get into the point that like I'm just getting tired of him crying and everything. But that particular scene, like actually, like I'm not saying broke me, but it was really emotional.
Okay, when he okay. To be fair, when he cried in the end of
Fullbringers,
of the Fullbringer, and towards the end of the Fullbringer, he cries. He becomes a whiny crybaby for a second. It's at least a little bit understandable.
Yeah, it's not only
it's selfish crying.
Like, it's selfish crying, but it's also kind of like
No, that's good.
You see also like is Ishida himself kind of like yes, it is selfish, but it's kind of like very sad for him.
Yeah, and 2 seconds later he gets called out for being a crybaby.
I mean, it makes sense why he will be a crybaby, and that's why I kind of like think that was a great point for that, because he actually crying first time for himself.
Yeah,
which also pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see that. But speaking of that, there's now coming out in the season another season of Mob Psycho 3. Did you see that?
I need to catch up on Mob Psycho, but
we're not going to talk about the story. So what I want to talk about is something that with the English voice actors.
Okay.
So apparently one of the English voice actors, the guy who voices Mob, I think he got fired or something like that.
Okay.
And they're like, they don't want to pay me. I don't know. There was like a whole story about that.
Okay.
Actually, I'll bring it up real quick. The voice actor, the English dub voice actor, who, by the way, I just want to make something very, very clear. I hate all English dubs. Every single one of them. Never heard one. There's only like one English dub that sounded good to me in my entire life. That is Roy Mustang from
Roy Mustang
from Full Metal Alchemist. He the guy who voice acts him does an incredible job.
Travis Willingham.
Yeah,
and his wife also does Lust,
which was funny.
What her Laura Bailey, right?
Right.
Like, I'm going to say that right now, not that I'm following everything of Critical Role. Let's be honest, the voice actors from Critical Role are very good. Like, they're very good. If there are an anime even or anything, I'm just, like, not even watching it for that. I'm just watching it for the scene and how they're doing things, because they're very good.
Yeah, so what I was about to say is that we can tell that Mob... okay, so back to talking about Mob Psycho. So... The main so the guy who dubs Mob, he quits or he's fired. I'm not
Kyle
sure.
McCarley, I believe.
Kyle McCarley.
Yes.
Because he wanted to unionize, because he wanted for them to have a little bit of respect and a little bit of rights. Because what unions do is they give you rights and they give you like a little bit of power, not a lot of power, but just enough power. And he got fired. And I thought that was pretty bad. I thought that was pretty bad from them, not from him. I thought that they should have like agreed to his terms, because the union of voice actors, I think, or something like that, they give them better quality of life, which I'm all for.
They deserve that, honestly.
Yeah, that being part of a union means that you're also paying them. Means he's making a little bit less money.
I mean, I can say that I'm kind of like a part of the union of like workers in where I'm from, and kind of like I'm paying them a little bit every month, and they're giving you a few particular things and benefits.
Yeah, so I just thought to like to talk about that.
So
now,
who they're going to switch with him?
Not his problem.
Right.
I just feel I feel sad.
Have they already switched in like the start of the season, or it's like
they have like a month and a half to? The sub is coming out now, not the dub.
Yeah,
the Japanese version is coming out now. They can easily take a month. They can say, you know what, we're gonna take even half a year, like, because nobody cares.
Right.
And
also, Mob Psycho, I heard, is a really good anime in general, but like I kind of just didn't really have the time to catch up for it.
Yeah, but you watched One Punch Man, didn't you?
Yes.
One Punch Man is incredible. It's just simple. Sometimes you just want simple. Sometimes you don't want to get like into the whole psyche and stuff. You just want one punch.
Yep.
One punch.
Also, speaking about the anime season as a whole, of course, this one came back.
Zaki-chan, yeah. I'm not
saying like it's a bad one.
There's one anime that I'm going to wait before I start watching it, because I'm going to
Blue Lock.
Blue Lock, yes, because I was so in my.
It's going to be 24 episodes. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I've noticed this. So there was an anime that came out back in April that was also 24 episodes. It only ended a month ago. Aoashi. I made a video about it.
Oh, I know what
the soccer one. Yes,
this is also a soccer one.
Yes, it's also a soccer one. They've been doing an incredible job with all the soccer anime, because there's a lot of good humor sprinkled into it. There is a lot of like action that gets you intrigued. It's really, really, really good. I recommend to watch my video. I recommend to watch Awashi, and I will be watching Blue Lock, and I will be making a video about Blue Lock when the time comes. And
also, just very interesting to see here that Bleach, for its comeback, it's basically the best anime out of the season. Not because of the fact that it's just like, came back, but because, let's be honest, I'm not saying that a lot of animes are bad, but it's like, yeah, I know what you mean, but like they're not really as good as like the top 3 used to be. So it's like it just shows you how people, the big three are the
big three for a reason.
The Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto were just amazing. Like I'm not saying that they're like terrible or anything. The new ones, like there are some really, really good ones. It's just like
unfortunately Naruto got.
They're not really.
Did you hear what happened to Naruto?
What?
He got an arrow to the knee and he took out the arrow and got Boruto.
Oh. Also, one thing.
Yeah.
There are some particular anime that I just don't really want to watch this season. And do we want to talk about the fact that we have 3 kind of isekai animes that are very weird? One that is going to be an ASMR mic One that he's a sword, and one he's like
A psycho.
a thing here
guy-
that we don't want to talk about, which is part under the Ichi category. So
The
ecchi
PG.
category, yes,
When PG isn't PG.
basically. So
Of course, for all the viewers, I'm making a joke because PG in this case is Peter Grill. We're not a fan.
Yes.
We do not condone watching.
this is the only isekai that maybe I care about if that's an isekai.
Yeah,
Kageno.
Kageno Jitsu.
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
I understand that people love isekais in Japan, like the idea of isekais, but they're getting so tired.
No. They're getting overdone.
Yes.
They're getting.
Now I
overdone.
also heard that there's like a vending machine isekai. It's so weird. It's so just what the hell
I can't
is
wait.
happening?
I can't wait for them to make a water bottle isekai.
But something that I actually wasn't really expecting to see this season, but some people will probably hate me for that, but I actually really like it, is Pop Team Epic Season 2.
Oh, Pop Team! It's good. We have Pop Team Antics.
Yes, we have Season 2.
Oh my god, I want to watch that.
I'm not
actually.
watching the full episode. I'm only watching the boys or the guys talking because it's so much funnier. Not discrediting the female voice actors. It's just because one of my best friends and I, when we watched it in the male voice actors, just because we wanted it to be funnier.
Funny,
Even
yeah.
though I'm not watching with him anymore, I just watch it like that because it's funnier.
It's really
me.
funny.
And it's just like tingling, just more funny things for me.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be it for today's episode. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. We talked about
Talked about too much.
The last thing I would say, Chainsaw Man is good. Just going to throw it out there. It's a good anime. Just throwing it out there. Anyway,
We're watching it because of the devils and because of the whole thing where his head becomes a chainsaw. Nothing else. Nothing else.
also his dream is so weird, but I do think it's funny. Anyway,
I do think it's great.
Anyway, finishing up this episode, which was hilarious and funny for me at least.
No,
We
for me
talked
too.
about real things that like real life stuff and how things are going for us. We talked about games that we're playing and things that we're looking into. And we also talk about card games and anime, which I think, it's another kind of like a chaos episode, like the first episode, but a little bit more organized and fun, I guess. It's more of like, I guess, just talking things that we like to talk about because
Yep.
we don't always have to have a topic.
No, we do have to have a little bit of a topic.
No, you understand what I mean. Like, have a topic of things that we want to talk about. We don't really have, like, a specific line of topic
No.
that is like, oh, we're just talking about adaptations. Oh, we're talking about, like, Fate specifically. Just like we did in the previous 2 episodes, which you already have listened to them if they came out. If you didn't,
Hopefully.
if you didn't, go listen to them right now. But seriously, just
I'm gonna have to edit that out.
why not? Why not? Just like give them a little bit of a thing if they're interested to actually going to listen to it. There are some episodes that are already put out, and also just in general, I think it's just great to just have sometimes weird things that we talk about. Weird things? I don't know. It's more of like
Fun things.
things that we're talking about just
Yeah.
for fun, not to talk about something specific.
Okay, so to close this off, I am Unharm. This
And
is
I'm
my...
Unfit, and I'm supposed to be first, but whatever.
No, Unharm comes before the Unfit.
No, Unfit comes before the Unharm.
Anyways, we hope you have a great day, a great night, wherever you are. Drive safely, and we'll see you all next time.
Next Sunday, hopefully.
Next Sunday, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're an idiot.